Okay, Rob. I'm just gonna film this for you as a personal video. Normally, I would have you come down to kind of take a look at what I got going on, but there's a distance issue, and I know we're both working, so I'll try to do this. So it came back over today from the paint shop, and you might already notice at this angle because I can kind of see it in the phone. Our color didn't come out right, so this is all repainted and looks good. But the side tone of the color, it just isn't matching right. It's quite a bit more orange than what the factory is. I mean, like right here, it looks pretty good. But then there you go, you're starting to get that side tone now. And on the doors, on the lower sections of it where I did the work, it's almost passable. You know, like there, I don't know if it's picking it up. Where my big concern was here to here. And then on the hood, because we had done the fender right here, yeah, you can definitely see it there. So this is the worst spot that it shows. It actually is almost acceptable right there. So the moral of the story is that I got to repaint at least all of the pieces that I've painted already. I'm going to tweak this. I did a spray out of it. Everything looked good. This is the way it is when you do what's called butt matching, when you put them next to each other without blending onto the adjacent panel. Now, I seen this at the paint shop, and I was hoping and wanting to bring it over here and get some detail on the rest of the OEM stuff, hoping that it would bring some of the washed color back out of it. It didn't. And not only did it not bring any of the color back, which means that this is what the factory color was, and this is just too orange. But also, this side of the hood's been detailed, and you're starting to see what I'm seeing. This hood's gone, man. There's nothing I can do to save this hood. I've sanded it with 3000 grit. I've compounded it and then cleaner waxed it, and this is the clear coat that's coming off of it. And actually, I found out via this spot right here that this has been re-clear coated once before. I don't think they base coated it. I think they just cleared it at some point in its life to try to save the hood, but there's just no way to get this stuff out of here. And like down in here, that white it's gone. There's no color there. There's just no color back down in there. And you know, this is kind of what we were looking at when we were doing the exterior inspection. And so it just looks like it needs a wash. You know, it doesn't really, I would have never guessed that it would have been that bad on it until I put the polisher on it. So I don't think that's going to be good for your auction. This isn't going to be good for the auction. And then as I'm doing the wash and getting all the dirt off of it so that I can start to get the contaminant out of the paint, which is the first step of it, that really lets you get up close and personal with the rest of the paint that's on it. Sorry, it's up on the lift. I'd kind of show you, but there's more chips in like the A-pillars, and I found a couple along the roof. The roof has got a big pancake wow in it. Yeah, you can see, look at that color. Like, it looks okay, but then it doesn't. But anyway, there's more rock chips in it. I showed you the one in the door, which this is just, I mean, bottom line, I just don't like to put my name on stuff like this. I mean, we fixed everything down into here, but we got the same problem right here, which means that we got problems in the door, which means we're just not fixing this right. And I'm trying to save you labor by doing just these spots and not blending up onto the doors and, you know, basically painting the whole rig. But this is the outcome of what we got. So really the way to do this right is to paint the whole thing at this point. I know it's not really in the cards for this one. It's not really in the cards for what I got going on. It's up on the lift. We're doing the mechanical today. So Keith's doing the valve cover gasket. I've got the wheel cylinders here. We're going to do those. Those need to be done anyway. But then based off of what I'm telling you out here, I kind of want to know what you want to do as far as the rest of what we found is concerned. So this wheel cylinder back here has been leaking, and it's been leaking so bad that the shoes are contaminated. Normally, when you have a leaky wheel cylinder and the fluid gets onto the shoes, you automatically replace the shoes because you can't get this out. you can't get the oil out of the shoe and it won't stop the way it's supposed to. From everything we can tell, this is the factory shoes that are in here. So we can clean them up if you want us to and try to put the factory shoes back in. The other point that Keith wanted me to make to you is that these drums, they really need to be turned. They don't have many miles on them, so I'm sure they can turn them, but you can kind of see they're pitted and gouged. So those need to be turned. And then this wheel cylinder on the driver's side looks dry. And I had shown you that evidence of something leaking out here. Well, it's the axle seal. So we've got a axle seal in here. You can kind of see the grease buildup on it that needs to be changed. And this one's showing the same kind of evidence. It's kind of pushed the grease out. So we would need to drain some of the fluid out of this pumpkin. We noticed that they've already done service work on this pumpkin because we can see that there's gray sealant around the diff. And this tag actually isn't in the spot that it's supposed to be in. It's got that extra hole. It's supposed to be bolted right here and right here vertical so that you can check the gear ratio and stuff. So if we want to go into that, we're not disturbing anything OEM because somebody's already been in there. But what it would mean is that we would need to slide these axles out and press the bearing off and do the seal and press the bearings back on. I've got all the stuff to do that stuff. If you want us to do shoes, we can do shoes. If you want us to do one side and not the other, normally, if to do this right, and if I was just going to do it my way, it would be 2 new wheel cylinders, all new shoes, turn the drums, and replace the axle seals, and the entire axle would be good and gone through and taken care of. But I know we got some variable stuff going on, and you got a budget. So I'm just trying to get in your head. Gas tank's a non-issue. We're gonna take care of that today. He's got valve cover over here getting it cleaned up really well.
Valve cover's gonna clean up really nice.
Yeah, it's gonna look real good. So we're happy with that. There was actually not a gasket in underneath the valve cover. They had used the same kind of gray sealant. Normally we would use a Felpro gasket, the blue good rubberized silicone gaskets, but you have to modify. You have to modify the valve cover to get those gaskets to seal correctly, and I didn't want to modify this OEM valve cover, so we're going to go ahead and put a cork gasket back in there, and that's what the factory would have used, would have been a cork gasket. So anyway, that's where we are. I kind of stopped on the detail process because of how bad the hood looks. I mean, really the front clip is not in very good shape at this point. And then like I showed you before, this door's got some issues. So now we're talking about hood, front fenders, front doors, because I've got this on both sides. Quarter panel, and there's some chips up in here too that we didn't take care of. I showed you the stuff on the hatch that we were just gonna try and touch up. We've got it here, we've got it there, we've got it there. So I hate being the bearer of bad news. These are the kind of projects where, you know, nobody really wins. I'm invested quite a bit into this just to get it to this point, and I've got other stuff that's keeping me from touching, and now I got to tell you after all that this isn't going to work out. So anyway, I'm not sure what you want me to do here, Rob. I can apologize to the world, but it's just nature of the beast when we try to do some of these things. So you want to schedule it for full body and paint, we can do that. It's probably not going to be this year. It'll be into spring before I can get you in for full body and paint. Let me just finish up mechanical and call it a day and figure out, you know, how we can kind of square up. I'm not expecting you to, you know, pay me in full, but I do got some time and some materials into it if you want to take it as is. I don't know. There's as honest as I can be with you where the Cherokee's at right now. So you review this, think about it for a little bit. I'm gonna let Keith go on mechanical. Tell me what you want me to do about this axle back here. Gas tank, that's no problem. Valve cover, that's no problem. I'll clean it out and wash it real good and whatever. And then beyond that, you just let me know where you want to go and what you want to see from here, dude. I appreciate you, and like I said, nobody wins on this thing, so I'm sorry, brother. Anyway, let me know. Hope you have a good end of the week, and hope work's going well. Take care, bud. I'll talk to you soon.